Fair enough. Should we double down on the private sector conversation now?
Yeah, let's do that. So over the next 15 minutes, we're going to be hearing from 3 different experts in the private sector about what's top of mind for them right now in cyber. I'd like to first welcome Accenture's global lead for cyber, Mr. Kelly Bissell.
Very good. Hey, Rick. Hey, Suzanne.
Hey, Kelly.
It's like I say your name when you show up on TV. It's remarkable.
Magic.
So Kelly, welcome. You lead the organization that responds to cyber incidents on a daily basis for Accenture. So what's top of mind for you as we move through today's conversations?
Yeah, that's right, Rick. We live on the front lines, if you will. And first, before I get started, I love Chris and General Petraeus' comments. I love the fact that you have to beat, we need to get to the point where you got to beat all of us to beat one of us. I think we have a little ways to go, but I'm encouraged on how we're getting there. So that's good. Also love what you and Suzanne are doing at Cipher Brief. I mean, this is the only forum that we can come together like this. So I'm really excited. So thank you. But as I spend all my time on the front lines, that's why I have gray hair, as you know. There are 5 things that I just thought I would really leave us with. One is, geopolitics continues to suck in the private sector. We've seen tons of examples over the last 10 years or more. As a matter of fact, even last week, there's a German oil company sucked into that area's geopolitics. So it still happens. I think the second thing is regulations are happening at a faster pace. I love what Chris was saying, that we're trying to get a little bit more coordinated. And that's good because sometimes it does seem uncoordinated with CISA and TSA and other things, but I think we're making tremendous progress. But regulation is the second thing. The third thing that makes a bunch of CISOs nervous is the idea of post-quantum encryption. And I know that's a super technical thing, but it's really important because the encryption keys are really what keeps all of our systems safe. And so with emerging technology in quantum and other capabilities, this is really causing us to think a little differently. Like, what's next? I mean, you probably know that NIST is accepting proposals on post-quantum encryption. And so the private sector needs, they can't replace all these keys in a couple of weeks or even months. They take maybe a year or 2. So that's on the top of mind right now with a bunch of CISOs and me. I think the fourth thing is around 5G, the reality of 5G and edge computing. I mean, look, it's hard enough to secure the core that we've been doing at data centers or clouds for a long time, but securing the edge is much more difficult. And so I love the idea. I think Chris mentioned that we got to build security by design in the early stages. And I think we got to make a little bit more progress on that edge computing and 5G. And I would say the fifth one, and maybe the most important one, and it's not flashy, but this is the reality. Enterprises today are drowning in the number of tools that they have to buy. I mean, most CISOs have to buy somewhere between 80 and 120 some odd different tools and try to knit them together. I think that's wrong. And I'll sort of quote a friend of mine, a CISO. She's one of the best in the market. And she said, look, we need a software provider to step up and build the next generation, like an ERP system of security. And I think if we do that, and I agree with her, by the way, if we do that, we'll have a simpler footprint, if you will, of security within the environment, that we could be more agile, respond to this next Log4j issue, if you will. We can have more integrated solutions around the company and across their whole value chain, including third parties. And I think we can be much more safe and secure with lower cost. I mean, it's really a great thing. We just need to be able to get to that SAP or that ERP system of security. So those are the 5 things that are top of mind that we're really getting through with all these hundreds of CISOs around the market. And I think there's a lot of work to do.
Thanks, Kelly. That's great. That's great stuff. It's interesting on your last comment. I agree that that's an important thing. It's also important that you do that securely, because you don't want to have another SolarWinds to the one piece of software that every entity in the country has.
Right.
So it's a tough challenge. Concentration risk, tough challenge.
Concentration risk is we're there in it now with cloud, right? But with all the other third parties that we know of, we've got it. We just have to deal with it more securely, I think.
Yep, that's great. Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you. Thanks, Kelly. And thanks again to Accenture for supporting the SIG and for allowing us to have days like today. We do 4 summits a year, and it's with support from the companies that are not just following, but really helping us lead. So thank you again. We're looking forward to engaging you on a number of other topics throughout the day today. So thanks for sticking around with us as well, Kelly.